Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello, and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. Shirin here with you guys today as your host. And today we have an incredible woman joining us, Maryam Alansaari, who is a UAE National and is quite the expert in sustainable and renewable energy engineering. She has worked as a researcher on a project on concentrated solar power technologies. She's enrolled in an immersive program in China for 2 weeks and also volunteered in Tanzania, and she's working at the Expo 2020 this year. Maryam, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's an honor to be having this with you today as well.
Great. Okay, so let's start off with getting to know you a little bit better. Can you briefly share with us your story and what brought you to your specific career path?
My name is Maryam Alansaari. I'm 25 years old, and I also wanted to thank you for giving us, the youth, a chance to talk about important topics like sustainability and renewable energy technologies. I recently obtained also my master's degree in mechanical engineering, in which I also focused on renewable energy technologies. Now, what really made me choose this specific path? It all started from high school. We used to cover a few topics about renewable technologies, and I always found myself a bit fascinated by it. My thought process was, we can actually produce energy from nature by developing the right technologies. Therefore, I went ahead to pursue my degree in this field, which is sustainable and renewable energy engineering. Because of it, I obtained a wider range of perspective when it comes to this field. I also became aware of the UAE Energy Strategy 2050, which is to reduce carbon emission to net zero and to increase the contribution of clean energy in the total energy mix from 25% to 50% by the year 2050. So seeing how the world is shifting to clean energy encouraged me to excel in this field and even work more to make a change in the renewable energy sector. So having the knowledge makes me want to contribute and fight against the climate change. And this is what we're all trying to do nowadays to help solve this problem.
I can hear from everything that you're saying, you really dive deep into this topic and it's very important to you. So let's talk a bit more about sustainable energy. Can you tell us what is it?
Yes, of course. So when it comes to the literal definition of sustainable energy, a form of energy that can be utilized again and again without putting the source in danger of getting expired or getting vanished or depleted for that matter. So therefore, it can be remained for the next generation. So we're talking about energies such as solar, wind, geothermal, hydropower wave, and tidal power. It is also something that avoids destroying the environment, and it can help improve the public health. How can it improve the public health? When it comes to sustainable and also renewable energy, it has less emission or no emission when it comes to greenhouse gases, which makes it better for the environment and to our health, of course. So it can provide a reliable power supplies and fuel diversification, which enhances energy security and also helps conserve the nation's natural resources.
And of course, when you were in university, you and your team also worked on an interesting project, which involved you ending up going to China for 2 weeks. Tell us a little bit about this journey that you went through.
It was one of the most fascinating journeys I've been through. So yes, my colleagues and I did work on a project, and it was under the title of designing a solar PV fuel cell microgrid power system. Now, when we were developing the project, we thought of a challenge that we can help in solving. The reason why we worked on this project is we wanted to provide a system in which it can be available for 24/7. So we have solar, but solar is only available when the sun is available. What will happen on a cloudy day or what will happen at night? That's where we wanted to have a hybrid system in which we introduced fuel cell technology. Now, the fuel cell technology generates electricity and power using hydrogen fuel. And we get this hydrogen from water using an equipment called an electrolyzer. We studied, we analyzed, we built the system because we wanted to understand the system and get results. We did get rather good results, and therefore we went ahead to participate in competitions and programs. We wanted to share our idea because we knew there was potential. So we did pitch our idea to this program and competition called Seeds of the Future, which was conducted by TRA and Huawei. Our idea was selected among a lot of ideas, and we had the opportunity to go to China for 2 weeks. In our visit, We had the honor and privilege to learn different technologies in renewable sector and also the communication sector. To add to that, we had the chance to improve on our idea and work more on it to make it feasible. So being a part of this program did give us a lot of knowledge, and it showed us all the different technologies that exists around us and how it evolved. It became better for our environment and our planet. We learned that everywhere we go, we had somehow the same goal, which is to fight climate change. And we wanted to develop technologies that will be less harmful to our environment. When we went to China, we knew that it was doable. No matter what technology you're looking at, everything was possible.
How fascinating. And, definitely sustainable energy is such a huge and important topic nowadays. But I want to talk as well about your time in university when you and your team worked on a very interesting project, which involved you somehow ending up in China for 2 weeks. Can you tell us about that journey, please?
Yes, of course. Honestly, this journey was one of the most fascinating journey I've been through. So yes, the project that we worked on, me and my colleagues, which was under the title of Design of Solar PV Fuel Cell Microgrid Power System, was selected. And we worked on this project because we wanted to develop something that could solve a problem. We had a problem of providing renewable energy for 24/7. So we came up with a hybrid system in which we have two technologies, such as solar PV, which is available when the sun is available. And when it's not, we have another technology, which is fuel cell. So the sun is not there. We have this technology, which provides electricity, and therefore it's available for 24/7. We don't need to use fossil fuel for that matter. And then this would lead to less carbon emission, and it's less harmful to the environment. Now, when we worked on this project, we did build the project, we studied the project, and we even analyzed it. We wanted to really test and see, is this feasible? So we did work on it, and we did rather get good results, and we wanted to share idea with everyone. So we decided to join competitions, and we decided to go for programs. So one of the programs we went for was called Seeds of the Future, which was conducted by Huawei and TRA. And gladly, we got chosen among a lot of other ideas. And we did have the opportunity to visit China for 2 weeks. Now, in our visit, we had the honor and the privilege to learn about so many different technologies and renewable sector and the communication sector. In addition, we also had the chance to talk to professionals in which we were able to improve our project and make it even more feasible for the market. Now, being part of this program, it did show us a lot in terms of technologies that exists around us and how it started, how it evolved, one of the advanced technologies when it comes to renewable sector and how it's saving our planet and our environment. We learned that everywhere we go, we had somehow the similar and the same goal, which is fight climate change and develop different technologies that will be less harmful to the environment. And when we went there, we understood that it's doable and nothing is really impossible. The technology there is amazing when it comes to a lot of sectors.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Apart from obviously the amazing work you were doing on the project, did you get to do much sightseeing in China? How was it in terms of culture? I'm sure it's very different to here.
Yes, of course. We gladly had time for that. We did go to the Great Wall of China and the Forbidden City. It was amazing seeing different culture, seeing the people around us, experiencing different moments with the people. And we are also exchanging our information with each other. So it was quite an amazing experience.
How amazing. Okay, so let's talk more about the environment. And you mentioned the different technologies. So green tech is a core topic when we speak about the environment and how to raise awareness among people. So what exactly is the role of green tech in simpler terms?
So when we take green tech, we mean by an alternative source of technology that reduces the usage of fossil fuel and it causes less damage to human, animal, plants' health, or even the world as a whole. Why are we focusing on green tech? So we are trying to reduce the amount of waste and pollution that are created during the industrial processes that we go through during our consumption. By doing this, we are going to not reduce, maybe we're battling climate change and, as said before, less carbon dioxide emissions and less greenhouse emissions. So we are recycling nowadays. We're using waste to produce energy. Because of this, we are seeing that we're advancing when it comes to green technology and how we're designing different technologies in order to help the planet and help contribute in battling climate change.
That sounds fantastic. And also to bring it back the UAE and to talk about what they've been doing so much already and trying to position themselves as one of the leading centers and models for this new green economy with the 7th Green Economy Summit, which ended in October. What do you think could be the best approach for the Middle East to face this challenge?
I think the Middle East is actually doing a great job when it comes to approaching these challenges. We can see a lot of green projects that has been developed to serve the objective of reducing greenhouse gases and contribute into battling climate change. We can talk about projects such as Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Solar Park, which is a 5 gigawatt plant, and we have a 2 gigawatt plant at Al Dhafra in Abu Dhabi. It just keeps progressing. Having to see all these renewable energy technologies come up, we see how they're approaching these problems and how they're approaching these challenges in order to meet the objectives that's needed for our environment.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's actually kind of amazing that with how progressive the UAE has been and how active they've been making that contribution to the planet, and they took it so seriously so quickly in comparison to a lot of other countries, much bigger countries who have been around for so long as well. So it's really amazing. We hope that other countries are soon to follow as well. You actually had quite a long journey into sustainability so far. And I'm sure you are a role model for many other young people out there. How does that make you feel? And can you tell us more about everything that you do to be involved with the youth here?
Being a role model, I think it's such a huge responsibility. And having this responsibility, honestly, you just want to work more and more to achieve more and more in order to be a better version of yourself every single day. Being a role model, I just want to work to achieve more in the science sector, also help the youth that are interested in this sector or any sector as such. So I had a chance to be part of the Federal Youth Authority, which is Fujara Youth Council, in which we started raising awareness in so many sectors, not just science sector, but we touched upon every sector that could help the youth in advancing our society. So having to raise awareness is very important in order for the people to understand what is going around us and what's happening in our society.
I also want to definitely touch on your volunteer work that you did in Tanzania. So tell me a little bit more about what that involved.
This experience is one of the closest experiences to my heart. It was a very unique experience, honestly. I was able to enroll into a volunteering program by Numu Hub, in which we had the chance to go to Tanzania, specifically Zanzibar. So our goal to go there was to 200 plants in a school. We wanted the small farm or these 200 plants to be a source of income to students that study in that school. We were able to plant these 200 plants using sustainable ways. And it was very interesting to learn more about the different ways of planting different type of trees and without using chemicals. So the people there had the knowledge in which they shared with us. And I came back having so much knowledge when it comes to using sustainable ways in planting and farming as well. It was such an amazing journey.
So it was definitely like a huge learning experience for you as well.
Definitely, yes.
Amazing. Okay. And of course, I feel it's important to also touch on the Expo 2020, which is happening this year, which you also got to be involved with. So as I've mentioned earlier, you are part of the Youth Pavilion, which is at the Expo. So can you explain a little bit more about what the Youth Pavilion is and what's the mission or the aim of the message that you're trying to spread?
Oh, yes, of course. So the Youth Pavilion, it's operating under the Federal Youth Authority and the Arab Youth Center. And everything in this pavilion was done by youth. And it's a very unique pavilion because we focus on youth as individuals. Of course, being a part of Expo 2020 was significant because we're gathering the whole world in a place and we want everyone around the world to meet the youth in the UAE. So we want to meet the world as well and we want to share our best practices with each other. The mission of the Youth Pavilion is to share stories and capabilities of youth and to also create an environment that maximizes the participant of youth. And we wanted to engage them through different programs and activities done by the Federal Youth Authority and the Arab Youth Center. And we don't really focus on one sector, no. We focus on every sector when it comes to artificial intelligence, sustainability, and everything that's interesting to the youth. And by this, we can advance and develop the talent of the youth that we have. So we have created creative mindsets, which is the power that we have nowadays, the youth. So we are trying to advance in the world and the society with the help of youth and their creativity. Yeah, so this is the Youth Pavilion.
So, Maryam, with all of your experience and everything that you've learned studying about sustainability and the environment, do you have some tips that you could share with the audience in how they could live a more environmentally friendly lifestyle and also switch the narrative around the use of technology?
When anyone asks me this question, I always say start with baby steps because, baby steps do go a long way at the end of the day. We could start by raising awareness. And my tip to people is to start with little things and then build upon it. So it could go on from recycling plastic water bottles, from closing the AC, for example, when you don't need to use it. All these little things do cause a huge difference when it comes to the environment. My advice is for people to look more in technology, sustainable and renewable energy technologies, as they have much potential when it comes to the future. It can contribute into great difference when it comes to battling climate change.
You've already accomplished so much, but what are some of your future goals or what's next for you?
My next future goal is to invest more into different technologies. Maybe I'm looking at a PhD, so maybe go for that. But I would like to make a difference when it comes to the energy sector, to focus more on such technologies, make it feasible for the world, make it energy efficient, make it cost effective when it comes to these technologies. So that's what I'm working towards right now.
I'm excited to see everything that you come up with. I mean, thank you for answering all these questions that I have for you. But we have a segment of our show that I'm going to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. So it's like a game show. It's only 3 questions and you just have to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So, Maryam, what is one of your favorite pavilions at Expo 2020 and why?
I'll definitely say the Youth Pavilion.
That's a biased answer.
Yeah, I know, but it's just the experience there is different. What the pavilion offers is amazing when it comes to opportunities for the youth and the services that the Federal Youth Authority offers. As well, as I said before, the Youth Pavilion focuses on the individual itself and the youth itself and what kind of messages each individual has. So to be a part of this, to be involved as a youth in such a pavilion, honestly, I think it's my favorite pavilion.
Okay. And how do you spend your weekends?
I do spend my weekends having some family moments, maybe go on adventures when it comes to hiking or anything as such. But yeah, it's more of on the chill side when it comes to weekends, and maybe spend some time with my cat as well.
Okay, Maryam. And for the last question, what is one thing that you do every day, no matter how busy you are?
Probably talk to my cat and spend some time with my husband as well. We do go on walks very often. So this is something we do almost every day, or we try to do every day. But I do talk to my cat every day. So that's answering your question.
I love that. Okay. I'm sure your cat appreciates it very much. And now to do our green pill moment segment, Maryam, could you share an inspiring or life-changing experience that you have gone through, which was your green pill moment?
I think the experience that changed me as an individual was my volunteering work at Tanzania. We learned so much and we met amazing people there. And something they told us was use your resources. Something I always think about this day. I do put this sentence when it comes to my career, and hence why I focus on renewable energy, especially solar, because what's available here in the UAE and the source that we have is sun. So therefore, I want to use our resource in order to develop different technologies. And yeah, I'm very thankful for that experience.
Amazing. I've also been to Tanzania only once in my life, and I just remember how beautiful, first of all, that country is. But I'm sure that actually getting that deep dive into what you did connects to the people in the country a lot more. So that's very special. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your very interesting story and all your knowledge with me today. I'm so sure that the audience is going to really enjoy this conversation, and I'm sure you're going to inspire a lot of the youth that you work with, that you probably already inspire, but more and more in the future. And just before we say goodbye, could you share with the listeners where they could follow you on any of the social media handles?
Of course. So you can follow me on Instagram, which is at MARIAAM67_. And if you guys have any questions, please don't be shy to ask me or go ahead. I'll be more than happy to help you in any shape and form.
Thank you so much once again for joining me today. And I wish you all the very best with all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's an honor to be a part of this podcast. So thank you so much.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.